In August 1975, the Banqiao Dam collapsed, releasing over 700 million cubic meters of water onto the plains below in a matter of hours. The ensuing flood wave killed an estimated 26,000 people immediately. In the following weeks, famine and disease pushed the total death toll as high as 240,000. For decades, the official historical record attributed this catastrophic loss to an unpredictable natural disaster, but a close examination of the engineering data reveals a deterministic systemic failure. To understand how the Iron Dam was destroyed, we use fault tree analysis. This model traces the collapse back to three converging branches: compromised structural integrity, an operational deficit from undersized spillways, and a cascading overload across the river basin. Infrastructure failures at this scale rarely stem from a singular meteorological anomaly. They are the result of compounded systemic breakdowns. Originally built under Soviet guidance, Banqiao was an earthfill embankment featuring a central clay core surrounded by a sand shell. During initial filling, poor compaction caused stress fractures to propagate within the core. To address cracking, engineers raised the embankment, doubling the reservoir's capacity. Modifying an earth-filled dam after the soil has already settled carries significant engineering risk, as it permanently alters the structure's intended pressure distribution. The resulting dam was constrained by the limited historical data available at the time. It was built to withstand a 1 in 1,000 year flood, allowing for a maximum discharge of 3,092 cubic meters of water per second. Recognizing the severe typhoon climate, hydrologist Chen Xing argued this discharge rate was mathematically insufficient, recommending 12 sluice gates. However, political directives prioritized rapid agricultural water retention over flood safety. Officials overruled Chen Xing's data, mandating a reduction to only 5 sluice gates. Subordinating empirical engineering requirements to political timelines permanently stripped the dam of its critical safety margins, years before the fatal storm even arrived. The primary meteorological trigger arrived in August 1975, when Super Typhoon Nina collided with a cold front and stalled directly over Henan Province. Over a concentrated 72-hour period, the system dumped 1,060 millimeters of rain onto the region. This 3-day deluge exceeded the total average precipitation the area normally receives in an entire year. This dual-axis graph shows the severe bottleneck. The storm generated an extreme inflow of 13,000 cubic meters per second, towering over the flat maximum outflow capacity of 3,092. With only 5 gates, this massive vertical gap guaranteed the reservoir would rapidly overfill. Compounding this deficit, heavy sedimentation accumulated inside the reservoir, partially blocking the existing gates and reducing the actual discharge rate below the theoretical maximum. In modern hydrology, the absolute worst-case weather scenario is called probable maximum precipitation. Typhoon Nina generated rainfall that far eclipsed the flawed 1 in 1,000 year model used to design Banqiao. Failing to design for probable maximum precipitation created a terminal mathematical deficit that no physical structure could overcome. Banqiao was not an isolated structure. As this topographic map shows, it sat downstream of 62 localized dams within the Ru River Basin. On August 6th, rising floodwaters flooded the Banqiao control office, shorting out the telephone switchboards. This severed all communication, resulting in a total loss of situational awareness. Operators could no longer receive upstream weather data or coordinate evacuation orders for the downstream towns. On August 7th, the upstream dams reached their absolute limits. A catastrophic domino effect began, as all 62 smaller dams breached sequentially. These failures unleashed a secondary torrent, surging 238 million cubic meters of water down the channels directly into the Banqiao Reservoir. This unpredicted secondary wave was equal to 40% of Banqiao's original water volume, delivering a devastating blow to an already crippled system. When an entire basin's flood control relies on interconnected structures, lacking independent safety margins, a systemic overload is inevitable. At 1 a.m., the reservoir crested over the wave protection wall, initiating overtopping. High-velocity water scoured the downstream face, rapidly eroding the sand shell. Without this restraint, the vulnerable clay core collapsed, resulting in a total structural washout. As the dam gave way, it generated a catastrophic peak outflow of 78,100 cubic meters per second. To put that massive outflow rate into perspective, it is the equivalent of emptying over 31 Olympic-sized swimming pools every single second. Earth-filled dams possess zero tolerance for overtopping. For these structures, maintaining precise spillway capacity is a matter of absolute structural survival. The resulting flood wave measured 10 kilometers wide and up to 7 meters high, rushing onto the plains below at nearly 50 kilometers per hour, completely obliterating everything across the massive agricultural landscape. Returning to the fault tree, the collapse was inevitable. The compromised construction, the capacity deficit from missing sluice gates, and the basin cascade all converged on the final overtopping failure node. The sheer scale of the physical breach is visible in historical photography, showing a massive void where the central embankment used to stand. The Banqiao catastrophe was the predictable intersection of extreme hydrology and suppressed engineering fundamentals. This disaster led to an immediate overhaul in how engineers calculate risk and manage safety for high-hazard dams worldwide. Today, modern dam safety practices dictate that high-hazard structures must be explicitly designed to withstand the probable maximum flood, the most severe combination of meteorological conditions reasonably possible. When infrastructure failure guarantees mass casualties, relying on historical rainfall averages is a dangerously insufficient constraint.